Hi, this is Hector Nunez. This is part one of a four-part series on APA formatting in Word. In every instance, I'm going to ask that you please consult your professor, instructor, teacher, if they have any special requirements for you. And what I cover here should in no way be construed as a means to supersede anything that the actual APA manual says with regards to formatting. However, the intent here is to set up some defaults so that when you open up your Word document, it's already set up in a way that's going to be APA compliant, or at least conducive to APA requirements. I'm also going to go over how to set up the headers and page numbers. When it comes to the running head, we'll talk about styles and defaults that'll allow us to format things rather quickly when we have to, and then we'll end with citing sources. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a blank document, and you'll notice that when you open up a document, it's based on what Word refers to as the normal template. Right now, the normal template has us at Calibri, size 11, depending on the version of Word you have or what you've done with Word in the past. You might have a separate or a different default. If I look at my paragraph settings, I'll see that I'm in auto here with single line spacing. I'm just going to hit cancel. First thing I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and enter some text just so that you can see what it looks like under the normal template. So under the normal template, everything's in Calibri, size 11, single spaced. But you'll notice that in between the paragraphs here, there's not really a line. It almost makes you think there's a line, but there's not. There's actually a buffer that's set here, and I'll show you where that is changed on the paragraph settings. For APA formatting, you're going to want to get rid of that buffer because APA formatting, we're talking about Times New Roman, size 12 font, double spaced, all the way through. So I'm going to start by highlighting the area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a shortcut just so that we can see things as we go along. And I'm just going to go ahead and select these things first, and then we'll go into the settings and we'll make them the default. So right here under my text, I can go ahead and select Times New Roman. Depending if you've used it recently or not, you might have to go further down the list to get it. So now I'm in Times New Roman, but that needs to be Times New Roman size 12 font, not size 11. So I've done that, Times New Roman size 12, and if you weren't formatted as your default, you would have to do this every time that you type anything out. So now I'm going to go to font. So I'm still in my home ribbon here under font, and you'll see these little squares. You see them here next to font, and you see them here next to paragraph. But I'm going to open up the settings here for font, and you'll see that because we selected it up here, it's already Times New Roman regular size 12, which is what I want. But what I really want is that every time I open up this document, I want it so that it defaults to that font size, or to that font and font size. So I'm going to go ahead and click Set as Default. It's going to say, do you want to set the default to Times New Roman 12 for this document or for all the documents based on the normal templates? And I want all documents based on the normal template so that whenever I open up a new Word page, it's already in Times New Roman size 12. I'm going to hit OK, and that is now set. The other thing I want to do is I know that my paragraph settings should not be single spaced. I want it to be double spaced. Now I could do this from the paragraph settings directly, but I'm going to go ahead and just do my double space first so that I can go ahead and just show you what that looks like. So here I go. I'm in double spacing. Under this particular version of Word, I also have the option to remove spacing before and after paragraph, but I'm going to leave that alone right now because I want to show you how to do that consistently throughout all the versions, and that's by using the paragraph settings. So far I'm in Times New Roman, and I have temporarily used a double space because I haven't set any defaults for paragraph yet. I open up my paragraph settings by clicking on that little recessed square Again, if you missed it, that little recessed square right here on the bottom. Practically each section will have it. You'll see it over here under styles as well. So under paragraph, you'll notice that the reason I have that extra space after that paragraph is because I have these little buffers set up. So they have an automatic buffer before and an automatic buffer after. If it's already an automatic, all I got to do is click the up arrow and it goes to 0 point. Obviously, if it's, let's say, it's defaulting to 12 point before, then I can just click down until I get to 0. The point is that I want to make sure both of these are 0. If I hadn't selected it earlier, my line spacing would have showed up as single here. I want to go ahead and make sure that that is double, right? So I would have pulled this down, and if it was single, I would have made it double. Since I already did it from the main menu, it's already there for me. So the last thing I want to do here is I want to make sure that this happens every time. So I set as default, the same pop-up comes up as before. I want to make sure that this happens for all documents based on a normal template. I'm going to hit OK. Once I hit OK, I'm now pretty confident that whenever I open up a new Word document, it's going to have this Times New Roman font, and my paragraph settings are going to be compliant with the standards in APA. So let's go ahead and do that now. So File, and let's say New, blank document. And you'll notice that I'm in Times New Roman, size 12. My paragraph settings are such that it's double space, 0, 0. So I haven't changed anything. So it looks like my new document opened up as I expected, and I'm just going to go ahead and type in some random text here using the built-in function. And you can see that I am now in size 12 font, double spaced, no additional buffers in between. I'm in Times New Roman, and everything looks as it should for with regards to spacing, font, and font size for APA. So that's it for part 1. The next thing we're going to cover is setting up headers and page numbers in the second part of this series. And I'm just going to go ahead and use some human performance here. And I'm just going to cross that out, telling me that I'm finished with that piece. So give it a try if you haven't tried it already. And we'll see you in the next video.